CSW update. Parishioners sent info about signs at North Thoresby, and I went to review them, and yes, they were better than what I'd seen at Saltfleet. I had one, can I say, offer of help in reference to the signs that we'd requested help in, because they've been moved. They would need to be moved every few weeks, and batteries charged, etc. If we use the ones that quoted on the last meeting. And I asked the clerk at North Thoresby, and he's given me approximate prices of what they cost there, and it wasn't much more, but they did have them installed on separate posts, which cost £300 each with the Lincolnshire highways. Now, they were also fixed permanently, so wouldn't need servicing apart from batteries. So in reference to having a team of volunteers to move them about wouldn't necessarily be the same. So in that aspect, do I inquire from the company how much they would cost, and go for them? It is a different concept. They're solar powered. Yes.
Yeah, they've got the same ones at Mumby, and I wrote to the clerk of Mumby Council to ask her where theirs were from, because theirs are really clear, you know, not really bad bend when you first go and you turn around and then it speeds on. And theirs were paid by the Viking League, but they are fixed.
Yeah.
But they are very bright, they're very clear, and I thought they looked brand new, and they've actually been up 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's worth having a look if you drive through there.
Yeah.
The ones at Mumby are really clear.
So, do I carry on and inquire from the company how much they would cost me? Okay.
If I get the stuff from Mumby, I'll send you, but she did send me back and said she'll send me more. Bus shelter update. I reviewed the risk assessment and contacted Blooming Saltfleet because of issues that I felt needed addressing, and it was pointed out to me by the treasure chest staff that they had noticed a school child actually with their legs through the arrangement of branches, etc., and thought that was an accident waiting to happen. So it sort of backed up what I thought, and they have actually rectified it, and it now, as far as I'm concerned, it's quite good as such. But the only comment has got reference to barbed wire at the back of the bus shelter. Unfortunately, that's a rural thing, keeping cattle and horses contained in fields with fencing. They use barbed wire. That's beyond our control. Okay. The selection of vice chair for matters arising. Selection of Councillor Williams was resolved. I did say I would confirm with Lauk about it, because there was one abstention, and I said to Councillor Williams that he couldn't vote for himself, but as it turns out, his Lauk confirmed that he can. So, as such, it was resolved. Okay. Chair's report. I had an email today from I can't remember public at the moment.
because of data protection, about an accident allegedly on the play area, and I thank Mrs. Page for giving information to the lady concerned that she contacted me. I have been down and had a look at all the equipment, and there is nothing irregular in the equipment at all. There is some minor fraying of one side of the rope walkway, but that, looking at it, it's not a hazard at the moment, but will probably be picked up by the inspection in August, September time. And anyway, to think about looking at getting the play equipment company to renew it anyway, as a matter of expediency. Okay.
Do we know any more about what happened to the child or anything? Or?
Apparently, from what the lady said, that had a head, possibly head injury, because a lot of blood around the head, but she didn't know anything more.
We don't know where, which equipment.
No, there was a report that possibly North Somercotes was one report, and then somebody said it was Saltfleet, so accepting it as possibly Saltfleet rather than North Somercotes.
I'm just wondering if.
Say again? Yes, yeah.
I'm just thinking, given that would be better to expedite that ROSPA thing, because you did say we could bring it forward. It costs a little bit more.
Well, we're supposed to do it annually, and it was done in May last year. So, in that aspect, it's not no by the play equipment people who installed the equipment.
Right.
Okay. So, in that aspect, you have to accept it. And there isn't really anything apart from a child may trip over and headbutt something. You know that what you can't.
I don't know. I didn't know what had happened.
Yeah.
These things happen.
There was no blood evidence around, although they said there was a lot of blood on the face or whatever, but there was no evidence on the equipment of any blood.
No, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not saying anything.
Yeah.
It was just to make sure.
Okay. Right. In reference to blooming Saltfleet, there's a question I've got to ask them. How often you were due a meeting recently when I contacted you? How often do you meet?
Monthly at the minute.
Monthly. Well, welcome to spending public money. You now have to keep records of your meetings,
I can assure you we do that.
and they're open to the public,
Public can come and look, sit
and
if they want.
recordings, etc., like this. But also, sorry.
Public can come in, it's advertised when
Okay.
it is.
Well, there is only one problem: is public meetings must be held in places not selling alcohol.
No, that's only a parish council. We're
No, it isn't. It's a
it
public.
isn't.
We're,
Like
we're a
that.
voluntary organisation. I think we can have a meeting where we want.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just
But
advising.
the next meeting's here, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Okay.
But you can't tell us where to have a meeting.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
It's a voluntary organisation, Peter. It's not the same as this.
Yeah.
You can't apply the same rules to the
No,
volunteers.
I think it's when it's public money involved, then it changes.
That was a donation that's now been spent, basically.
Yes, but it's still public money.
What's been spent? It's all
Been
around
spent.
the
I
village.
think it doesn't matter that, in that aspect.
You know, you can't tell us where to have meetings and what to do
Well,
with it.
I'll leave that up to you.
Well, that's what
But
we're gonna do.
also insurance.
Yes, we've got some, thank you.
Okay, good. Right.
Anything else?
Anything else you want to
Anything
bring up?
else?
It's
No?
not a blooming Saltfleet meeting, I think this is a parish council meeting, so perhaps
Okay.
Move
No,
on.
but
I
I've
suggest
got,
you move on.
it's just I've got to ask these questions.
What, why have you got to ask?
Right.
I think it's a reasonable thing to ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you could come to our
Why?
meeting instead of wasting time.
To be
Isn't
honest, Guy, every month we tend to get something brought up, so it's just an ongoing thing. Anyway, let's move.
On to lighter things. Coronation mugs. We had previous jubilees during Queen's reign, every 10 years, given mugs out, etc., to either school children or pensioners. But the platinum jubilee, we didn't. Don't know. I think we were so involved with COVID and all the rest of it, and then the parish clerk, had to change. That we didn't get round to it at the platinum jubilee. But there's an offer on Louts News, e-news, for coronation mugs, various types, from £2.90 without any words to about £3.90 with words like from Parish Clerk, Council, Saltfleet, whatever, like Saltfleet, come Skidbrook. Any interest? We'd think about it, otherwise
Yeah, we should. We've always done it in the past, haven't we?
we have.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I'd argue absolutely not at all. We're in a cost of living crisis. Only last month we decided not to get the bin stickers from everybody because we couldn't give those out.
No, we're getting bin stickers.
Yeah, but
as a
we've-
trial. There's nothing. We can get more bin stickers.
I would rather have ordered 200 bin stickers.
Yeah, but we didn't have permission at the time to stick them on the bins. We had to get permission from Waste Department
Yeah.
to stick them on the bins.
I just think that parents can buy a coronation mug if they want to.
Well,
Okay,
we've always done it in the past. There aren't going to be that many coronations, are there? And last time I got them done at
Okay.
Alfred Potter,
Can I-
but I know we won't.
Can I, just as a survey, not subject to making us do it, can I ask the public session what their feelings are on the parish council obtaining coronation mugs to give to
just
the
the
children?
I've still got mugs from my children when they were at
Yeah,
primary
we've
school,
still got ours,
and
yeah.
they cherish it. It's something that, yeah.
Well, have our hands up, vote both ways. Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay, thank you anyway. Right, finally, Chairman's report. Elections, so just some basic information. You may already have it, but you need to check individually as well. 13th of March, notice of elections. 14th of March, nomination forms available, from what I believe. And after you've completed them, to be taken by hand for checking between 8 to 4 p.m. at the council offices. Okay. Tuesday, 4th of April is the closing date for nominations. Withdrawal notices, in other words, if you withdraw your nomination, it's the same date. Postal votes deadline 18th of April. Proxy votes 25th of April. And polling agents, what that's reference to, I don't know, is 26th of April. So that's all I've got at the moment on elections.
I think what's important for everybody to know is this is the first election where you need photo ID to vote.
Yeah.
So
There
if
is.
you don't have photo ID, or you can apply, but you need to apply now if you haven't got photo ID.
Yeah, there is some form that you can apply for in lieu of a photographic form, but I don't have information on that at the moment, but I believe there is.
I have put it, I think, on the Parish Council Facebook.
Okay. All right. I'm going to hand over to Councillor Williams to carry on as chair while I carry on with trying to do minutes. Okay.
Okay. 10A. Report of alleged on alleged parish council report to Environment Agency Natural England. It was actually Natural England, Environment Agency and Lincolnshire County Council. Mr. Campion was putting a fence up behind a pitch on the New Inn site, and within 3 hours somebody got up there from Northamptonshire because they'd had a report from the parish council that he was damaging the sea defences, And obviously he came to us because he was really angry that the parish council should be saying that he damaged the sea defences when he clearly hadn't. We haven't contacted any of those agencies, so somebody's obviously
I haven't contacted anyone.
no, somebody's obviously contacted them saying that they were from the parish council. And Peter and I were asked to go down to, as chair and vice, to meet the guy from Kia, who's the portfolio holder for Lincolnshire County Council for construction. Long story short, the fence was fine. It's really good actually, but there's some dispute over one end of it. So he's had to move one end of it 15 inches, the other end is left where it is, and then realign the post. So it's all concreted in. He'd done a really good job. It took like 2 panels of concrete to stop the running sand. He'd already done the hardwood planting behind it. It's as good a job as I've seen of a fence in Lincolnshire, frankly.
Where was this? Whereabouts were you?
At the bottom, by the sea bank. So we obviously have an issue there. A, because we've got somebody being quite pecunious about reporting things to Environment Agents. And they obviously knew who to speak to at Environment Agency and Natural England to get through to the people and then to get there in 3 hours, which is remarkable for anybody. It must be 2 hours to Kettering from there, I'd have thought at least. Yeah, at least. Yeah, it's a good run, isn't it? But anyway, they got there pretty damn quickly. But secondly, obviously, there's somebody's putting themselves out as being from the parish council. So there genuinely doesn't seem to be much we can do about it, but it's very unpleasant and it's nothing to do with us. The request from Councillor Cunliffe for 3 months of on completion of the wildfowling licence. The chair gave 1 month, so that's obviously now, I suppose. And C, update on wildfowling licence, Councillor Williams, an update from this. Right, well, this is all good news all the way round, really. We've got the licences, we can sign them any time, so we need to arrange something to do that. But also, David Campion is now doing a mirror licence of our licence for the land behind the new inn, so that'll all be involved as well. And there's another landowner to the north of the parish joining us, who's also going to grant a licence as well. So going into next season, the wildfowlers should have about twice as much foreshore to shoot on. And because of all this furore, they've actually had interest from some younger people who want to come and join the wildfowlers. So happy days around.
When they go shooting, is there any way somebody can be there, they put flags out or something, so that when I take the dog down there for a walk,
Yeah.
I know that shooting's going on?
Well, I'd say 2 things on that. Firstly, it's very unlikely you can be taking a dog for a walk at that times because they're only going like dawn flight and late flight.
They're not.
So, sorry.
I go out at crazy times, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's fine. You can go out crazy times when you like. But so, firstly, that. Secondly, obviously the season's quite short. And thirdly, it has been recommended that they put signs up, temporary signs up when they are shooting to say shooting.
Or something.
Flags wasn't mentioned, but it's been recommended that they put signs up. So I think for next season they will put signs up when they're actually going out there. Yeah. So yeah, good point. But it's been raised and agreed. Basically.
In reference to flags, there would be a confusion because what flag is going to be relative to wildfowling and what flag is going to be relative to the aircraft activities.
You go your dog and get bombed.
The same colour, red. So.
Right.
Can we ask it in the actual signed lease or whatever you're going to do with the wildfowling, that there be a clause put into it to say that should the lease with Lincolnshire County Council stop, therefore that lease will stop?
No,
Why?
because we liaised with Lincolnshire County Council and they are happy that it would carry on. Secondly, if it it did stop for whatever reason, that it would be out of our control anyway.
Yeah, but the wildfowlers understand that, do they?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And they've been
Could
quite...
we maybe have a codicil just put in on the end that they understand this?
No. A, because they're paying for it. B, because a number, several now actually, local residents have offered to pay for that if that happened. And certainly I think I'm right in saying that David's paying for the licence on his land.
He is.
Yeah, and I think the other chap's paying for his licence as well. So, and it has taken us an inordinate amount of to and froing to get it right and get a form that Basque, the wildfowlers, the solicitors, Lincolnshire County Council and us are all happy with.
But
So
could we get a letter from the wildfowlers that to be kept on record that they understand that should ever the lease cease for any reason, that's the end of it?
Why?
Then we've got that, if the lease ceases. The other thing is the land at the rear is disputed land of Dave's, of the new inn, and I think the actual holder of the title of that is LCC.
Right. That's not relevant to our licence at all, is it?
No, it's not relevant to us, it's just,
Okay.
I'm just making a point that it's them that own the
I'd see you
foreshore, not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so part D, replacement clerk and temporary administrator adverts submitted and requested for them to be extended to the 30th of April. Now, the clerk business, I know it's going to be difficult to get a clerk and there are hundreds of parishes looking. And we had some interest from another clerk, but I think they're inundated as it is, but we're still working on that. However, if we had the temporary administrator, I think we could please a lot of people fairly quickly just by getting everything published. Because if everything's in the public domain, then a lot of these things where they think, oh, you might be lying or you might have made something up, and all the nasty kind of snide kind of comments would have to go away because it's all published in the public domain. So if any of you know anybody who can do tippy typing and photocopying and can use a black marker for redacting, please put them forward to Peter to be considered, because they do get paid, and there's a lot of work there. It's going to cost us thousands and thousands of pounds to do this, but it will stop the freedom of information things because it'll all be published and done. 7 principles of council office. We were sent, a member of the public sent us the 7 principles of council office. We somewhat pointed at, but
Yeah. I was asked about a councillor, which councillor I referred to. I think if you watch the video on YouTube, it would be quite easy to work that one out. But that's all I need to say on that one. CSW update, the Community Speed Watch update. I've already spoke about that, and we're going to get further information on it. Received 1 application for volunteers to service radar signs. There was a young man of 19, and I thank them very much for coming forward. But we need a minimum of 2, and ideally probably a team of 4, because otherwise 2 will be doing it all the time.
Do you know how often they need chaps?
They reckon ideally every 3 weeks or so you move it. You put the plate. I don't know. I'm assuming maybe the last 3 weeks. I don't know.
depending on the volume of traffic as well.
Yeah. So that part I don't know. Without getting technical information in, I don't know. But also, of course, you have to wear all the PPE and all the rest of it as well, and it's got to be a flat surface where you put your steps, and so quite
we
It
may
just might
not.
be useful when you do have that information for volunteers, just to know how often they'd have to do it, and
Yeah,
how long they've got to be on charge for.
yeah.
Yeah, how long
Yeah.
would they have to be on
That's
Well,
charge?
yeah.
Where would you charge them?
But
It'll
and
depend on the ones we buy, won't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
with hopefully, if these other version looks attractive in price wise, then that part of it would be just, apparently you get 2 sets of batteries for them, and they're solar powered as well, so it trickle
It's
charge.
longer than-
Yeah, in the winter probably needs more service than the summer. The data protection accusation, I addressed that in people's people's addresses. I've asked them as a councillor for their email address. Now, Councillor Williams is Skidbrook Cider. I don't know how many people have access to Skidbrook Cider, but I assume he controls what he receives on that email address.
If my wife, yes.
Okay. Councillor Ralph Benton, I asked him for an email address, and he asked me to ask his son for to contact him and get one from him. I don't care if it's Humpty Dumpty, but the fact that it's the domain MKB or whatever, I'm assuming as father's son that he will be discreet and pass the information on to Ralph, as Ralph had asked for it to be done.
Chair, can I just clarify on that? It
Yes.
is my father's email address. He has access to it, and I take it over to him while he's in hospital. Okay, I have a separate email address for a separate company that I use for business.
Thank you very much. So, what I sent to him is basically aimed for him then.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, that your complaint about data protection, giving out your details, is not void. Yeah.
Could have fixed it a few months back if you all of the .gov.uk proper email addresses, a bit more secure.
Well, I can't tell them what to have.
No, I mean, as a council, we decided to do it.
Yeah,
I
but
think
there's
we-
no
we
real
did-
benefit in doing that, is there? 'Cause
Yeah,
we're
we did
just-
start.
It's only a small village. We all know each other. We all.
Two of the councillors,
Go on.
Councillor Cunliffe and myself, have taken up the like a councillor website address. Okay, but with the rest, it's up to them if they personally want to do that. Yeah, I can't
But
answer.
you've got to protect everybody though, haven't you? You know, it's,
Yeah, but then
this is the thing, it's, you know, how many have you been had to, for breached? GDPR, you had to have a separate sort. I
Okay.
work for local
Anyway.
council and you have to have an email address within the council just for your actual
Yeah,
email.
that's what we wanted, was .gov once, and it was rejected. It was
Okay.
£250 for the parish council to all have .gov.
I thought it was a legal requirement. to do
Yeah,
that.
I thought it was. But it
As soon as we
wasn't.
got a clerk, then we'll
Anyway.
put them all
You'll
on.
never get one,
Yeah.
I tell you now. There's too much work going on here. I was clerk 40 years ago and I had to give it up because of what was happening then.
Right.
And now, listening to this meeting tonight, you ain't got cat and mouse chance of getting there. I'm
Right.
sorry, I hate to tell you that.
right, can I move on, please? Right.
Thanks, Ian.
I'm telling you, you haven't.
Waiting invoice from CSW application for road safety. So that's in abeyance at the moment. Financial update. I've yet to receive some of the latest bank statements, so I've only had to go on what's technically outstanding because I haven't seen the cheques being cashed as such. So I've had to list them. I know some of them are quite old from the ex-clerk. Undoubtedly, I should think she'd already cashed them, but I've not had a statement saying so. The playing fields, there's a service charge £7 per month, so that reduced the amount down to what it is now. And I would like to point out to the councillors that we've got also an auto fee charge of £30 a month, which I would like to try and see if we can negotiate a different account, because that's just coming out every month, even if nothing's happening. Okay, and also we need to change some banking signatures, etc. Right. Oh, there's one outstanding which had come in reference to grass cutting, which I need to make a decision on tonight, if I can bring that forward. CSW grass cutting. Glendale grass cutters, last year's grass cutters that did the field, they're giving £79 a cut fortnightly. Not got a start date. I assume they want to be called for when to start cutting. And
Well, it depends if the temperature comes up over about 12 degrees, doesn't it?
so
It's not going to grow to
they're
that.
asking us to accept the above quotation. From the information I had before, it was a little bit less than that last time. I can't remember the exact amount, but £79 is very good for that size field. It's surprising actually how they can do it. And I suggest that you accept it. Okay, is that okay?
Our proposals, yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Thank you.
Is there anybody going to demand 3 quotes before we accept £79?
I think it'd find difficult to get anybody cheaper than that.
No, I told you about the freedom of information tomorrow.
No,
I didn't
we
get
went
3 quotes.
with Glendale. We go through the bidding process when we first got them, I think.
Probably did, yeah.
Well, we did.
I know, I'm pretty sure we did, and then you are allowed to extend on
Yeah.
if it was the most reasonable and the new quotes are not dramatically different. You can extend it off. I don't think you're breaking any financial regulations.
I was going to ask, I don't think you'd cut it for that, would you?
He won't cut my bloody field for that.
Yeah, okay.
I've done that field before, it's a lot of colour.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about grass cutting, the gentleman that had the complaint against him, New Inn, does quite a lot for the village. He cuts the grass here at the social centre. He cuts the verges in the village. At galas, he provides a large marquee at least worth £1,000 as far as costs go, put up and taken down by the staff. There's a lot they do, and I think you need to consider how you look after these assets, because they are an asset.
Are you making an allegation that somebody here has been...
No, somebody in the village has. So
Right.
if you know who has done it,
No,
you might want to point out. If
absolutely
a
not.
new person, if
No.
anybody knows who that is,
No.
then they need to relay back that the amount that they put in from that site
Yeah,
far outweighs.
That's why I messaged yesterday, you put it on the agenda, and it was like, what's the new wing got to do with it?
Yeah,
Is
no,
there
but
any issues with the new wing?
this is.
I think all the sites do actually.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Sunnydale and they
Yeah.
all do.
Yeah.
It's not just one, all of them do.
Yeah,
They all do a lot of grass cutting.
yeah.
I think David goes up beyond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
he
the last
does.
few
He
years
does
with
quite a
COVID,
lot.
okay, fine things we haven't been doing as much. But before that, if you go back 3 years or so, we owe an
Okay.
awful
Yeah.
lot.
Right, if we can carry on. I've not. Anybody picked up any planning stuff? I've had a look and I've not seen anything.
The only one that technically it could be us or not us is a house on the corner, just as you come into Saltfleet. You'd think it was in Saltfleet. It's kind of next to,
Cotterbox.
What, the south end?
yeah, just as you come in down that very first bend, and I think the river cuts it off. You'd think it was in Saltfleet. And Saltfleet B, Parish Council have put an objection in because they're wanting to build kennels there.
Yeah,
They've already built them.
Yeah, it is Saltfleet.
Yeah, it's just on the border, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
worth.
Cotterbox.
Corner is Saltfleet, on that
Yeah.
They found the stone saying that it's Saltfleet.
That's right.
Yeah.
The brothels found it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
I know, I've read their objection, and
Yeah.
I think they've put in a perfectly good, it's just with it being right on the border, whether we had to.
That's it.
We've had a long-standing, I won't say tradition, but protocol that we don't comment on other parishes and their applications.
Right,
We just
that's
don't.
fine, it was just because it was right on the border.
Yeah. No, I don't know, but it's not our business.
Yeah, but we've not been sent anything about it anyway.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah. Right, highways, footpaths and lighting, is there any issues
I spoke
apart
to,
from Howdale's?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good, but we haven't got any highways, footpaths or lighting, so move on.
Mention how comes to Haven, haven't we footpath as well?
Oh, the footpath.
no, that's what I was going to say, Peter asked me to have a look at the footpath from Saltfleet to Howden's pullover, and I've spoken to the
Oh,
council.
the one on the 1031? Yeah, the main road?
Yeah, from Warren,
Yeah, yeah.
Rowan, where it becomes
I
main road, Warren Road.
misunderstood, thought you were talking about from Howden's pullover along the sea bank to Hampton.
No, I'm talking about on the main road.
Okay.
And it is on a planned maintenance,
Okay.
but if you do look, there is quite a bit where people's gardens or whatever have spilled over.
Oh,
onto
yeah, it's the
thing.
sand.
It's always going to be an issue, and then, you know, I think it's something that we have to leave with the county council, it's not really a parish council.
Yeah, it's not about business.
Yeah, a lot of it's triple SI, Toby's Hill section, and then you've got 2 or 3 houses on the right hand side as you're approaching Wine Hill Lane.
Yeah, it's there, but I think that
Yeah.
should be something
But
that's left for the county council,
Yeah,
it's not
but
really.
it
But
actually,
the other stuff is on planned maintenance.
yeah, but actually, the last few hundred yards, it does prohibit prams and
Yeah, I tried to get Pride to do it, they said it wasn't an EDLC thing, it had to be a county thing.
highways, yeah.
So I've spoken to the county and it's on planned maintenance, and they said there's nothing they'll do other than,
You don't want to get involved with the SSSI.
no, it was nothing to do with that, it was just
Yeah, well, it is,
literally,
because the sand's running off an SSSI.
no,
So
it was
stop.
where the houses are more than where the SSI is.
But that's 2 or 3 times now that they've done.
It's more where the houses are than where the triple SI is.
Right. Village field updates then. Application has been submitted for play equipment inspection by ROSPA. Last safety inspection made 2022. And results of, I've not had a reply on that yet. Results of request for volunteers to form new field committee. You've advertised on the website. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Sorry?
Well, we've got some good news on that.
Yeah, go on.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I had a word with quite a lot of the old committee and some of the last committee as well. Some of the more experienced people in running the playing field or sports field, whatever you want to call it. Most of them are quite happy to step up into the void that's there now. Those people are happy to come on a committee to start, as we did before, running it on behalf of the village, fundraising as well.
This is excellent. This is actually the old committee. This is basically.
Yeah.
It is the old
And
committee.
you're all
Yes.
happy to work together and get
Well,
it rolling again.
We have got rather long in the tooth, but we've all looked at the situation, and the situation needs someone to step up. So we've all on there, plus we've had a few more contactors since that are willing to step up as well. We're asking you here tonight if you would agree. We're quite happy to take the reins on again and move it forward as before.
Can I propose that we accept their kind offer and we reinstate the original field committee?
Yeah, I
You second that? Yeah, I'll go with that, yeah.
Just a point, I don't mean to be a naysay, it's great that you're doing it, really. But we did talk about, sorry, we did ask that it would be a charitable trust status when it was
Yeah.
reset up.
That would be pretty difficult. Perhaps Ian could help us out on that.
Well, I think at this moment in time, I think it's a matter of accepting that this group are willing to go forward
Yeah.
and to try their best to resurrect the activities, which would include 4 to 5 dates of car booting. The first step will be the status of the group, which that might be a thing that you might have in mind. I personally think that might be very difficult. I think there are other options available to us, which I'm not going to go into, but I know there are other options available to us, and that's a matter for us to talk about and to bring forward to the parish council for that to be looked at and ultimately accepted.
Could that be, because it's just if there is things like constitution, we're all
It will need to be that, won't it, as you know?
Yeah.
And you know, there are such things as community interest companies, but that might be useful in many respects. It may have some disadvantages. Charitable trust you've mentioned, again, I think that's got many problems, and there are other which ways of doing it, and I'm not going to profess that I know all of them, but I think between us we will have discussions which will look at our options and will come forward with what we believe to be the best one, and
Well,
then
you've
it'll
got
be,
a really
it'll be up to the
strong
parish
team,
council to say whether they're happy with that.
Yeah, I think if you adopt the code of conduct of the parish council as one part of it, and your constitution, there is a constitution in the record somewhere.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Okay, which you can use or adopt, but basically be similar to what was done before.
Wouldn't it be better, in the meantime, to have this committee as a subcommittee of the parish council
No,
with a
because they
representative?
can't make a profit on a
You
supplement.
We did have a parish council
You
representative
can
on the
make money.
committee.
As a community interest company, you
Yeah.
can be for community interest and make a profit.
Yeah.
What I
Yeah.
would see as one obstacle to that would be the relationship between the parish council and the community interest company, because they are partially divided unless you can get across that problem. I believe it's possible, but I don't want to say in this room that I think it's the only way, or even that it's completely doable. But my first instincts would be towards looking at that. And having previously set one up in business, and still have a live one which I'm a director of, I know they have advantages, but there is some work involved.
Okay.
Well, I'll go back to what I said, but adapt what I said. I propose that we accept their offer,
Yeah.
put field committee on the agenda for next month,
Yeah.
which will give you a month to have a look at what you're proposing to do going forward, but it would then allow you to get on with the car boot sales and getting them booked and advertised straight away.
That's the pressing thing, yes.
And if you can't find a copy of the Constitution, we can find them in the records.
Would you have a look for us?
And then you can adapt, come back
I
to the
think
council.
Ian
and
had got a
propose.
more modern one, didn't you, before?
No longer, Meryl, I don't think. I think one going back a while possibly might have done, but I don't think even then it was that up to date, was it? I think it's probably...
No, I just know it was an updated version.
Yeah,
that's
it
why.
was. But taking the parish council stance, as Peter suggested, getting the constitution, whatever exists, which
Yeah.
maybe what we looked at before. Looking at the CIC, there could be some costs
Yeah.
involved in that, setting it up. So what I would probably request, and I can't obviously put a number on it, but in theory, can I come back to you, or can we come back to you and say there might be legal costs in the construction of maybe a CIC or whatever?
Well, if
I
you
can-
come
I
back
can-
with
I
your
can only come back
proposals,
to it.
then obviously the council can then decide what they want to do from there, can't they?
Yeah.
I second it.
Mr Chairman, just from a time frame point of view, for us to come back with all of that in a month you're asking quite a bit.
No,
Could we not set the old constitution up, have it running, and come back, say, in 12 months?
Yeah.
as long as you've accepted the parish council code of
Yes.
conduct.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Which you'd have to anyway.
Yes.
Which is what we've done
Which
in
is
effect
previously.
previously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Can
So
you
you're
just bring the
reinstating
old
it
one
as it
back
was.
next month, just so everyone can
Yeah.
see it?
Council's
That's
got
okay?
one.
We
Yeah.
probably need it, and then yeah.
Yeah.
We have got some proposed dates. There's no point in going through them, but the first one would be the 9th of April.
Any mandatory expenditures, I think you should have a parish councillor and and one field committee sign checks.
Yeah.
Okay, so that there is some control.
Some check and balance.
Well, we'll have to go back on that, as you know, Peter, won't we?
Yeah.
Because I've given up.
Well, I guess I've got to sign them back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I propose and you seconded,
Yeah.
are you
And-
in favour of that as well?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
come back next month, just put, have an update next month. let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
We'll keep it as a standing thing on the agenda, I would have thought, because it's going to be ongoing, isn't it?
Would it be useful for everybody present to talk in terms of who the roles, please?
Say again?
Yeah, by all means.
You don't need to list figure up the.
Do you want me to read
Well,
it out?
yeah, well, why not?
Yeah,
It's open and open.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Matty Benton as chair, John Campion vice chair, Ian Dickinson treasurer, Carol Butler secretary. It's Carol. Oh. Anne Appleby, Graham Barker, Daniel Barton, Claire Parcel, Ben Warsop, and Keith Warsop down. Obviously, be more active later, hopefully. That's a strong committee.
It wouldn't be fair not to include Keith for all the work he's done.
No, absolutely.
25 years of car booting, every bank holiday for 25 years.
Yeah.
You really have to give him serious praise for that.
Yeah, no, we
And-
wouldn't
and
be
his
where we
family,
are
of
on it without it at all. No, fantastic. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wish we could get a clerk as quick. Right. That's brilliant.
Update on new metal fence.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything on the new metal fence whatsoever. I'm sorry.
Well,
I've had so much else on.
I was driving past the other day, approaching the car park from Treasure Chest, and anyway, somebody pulled into the car park and let their dog out, and off it ran up to the play area, off the lead. He followed it, and at the far end of the obstacle course, prior to the zip wire, he picked up what the dog had done at that time, and then I started driving off to Louth then, and noticed the dog was at the end of the zip wire having another little kick that sometimes they do after they've done something else. But he was 50 yards away picking up the other lot, so I don't know whether he missed that. But anyway,
Could I
the
suggest
point
that
of the point of that is the metal fence. What is that going to do to stop that happening?
I think what the gentleman that came, he's not here tonight, but who was asking about it, was concerned, but maybe that's something that needs to go over to the field committee.
Yeah.
But what they were concerned about is dogs getting onto where the children's bit is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So come up with a solution to.
I was meant to be getting a quote for a fence from the dog.
I wish you luck with that guy because looking at the length and the amount of money, you're talking possibly 20,000 plus.
I didn't think it would
It's
change.
all right because you've got 43,000 in your account.
Ooh. Yeah,
We didn't spend all them years raising that money, and it was seriously hard work for a good few people here. We spent 10 years of our lives, and it wasn't just turn up on the day. Some of us spent every week organising things, and we're not going to waste it on a bit of metal fencing just to stop the dogs.
It's not me who wanted the metal fencing.
Why don't we just stop the dogs?
Yeah.
No.
Stop the bloody dogs.
You've got it on lead. Right? Make every dog go on leads.
Can I just...
That's the simple answer.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
Sorry. The fencing was for two reasons, and please don't shout me, I'm just saying what everybody else has said last month. Partly to secure for the kids, so that area was safe for them, and also to keep the dogs out.
So,
And then it was suggested for the little bit to be done, and then somebody said, why not fence the whole lot off? So it wasn't.
you're quite
It's,
right.
it's
Originally,
yeah,
it
it's
was
just
that playground.
it was
That
up.
little
It's
bit,
up in
yeah.
the air. Nobody's, you know. I think everybody's just trying to come up with a solution for everybody. Really,
Yeah.
it is. It is. It's
I don't
one of
know anything
those.
about it. All I know is that we're prepared to get back on the ball and try and work that field
Yeah.
again and do things. And
Yeah,
and as John has said, that does do good things for this village
Yeah.
and people that come to the village, and ultimately, yes, that does raise some money, and that means you can do some stuff, whether it's
Yeah.
that or whether
Yeah.
it's anything else.
you've got
If you
two
don't
things.
do
You've
it,
got
you
the
don't get
kids, and
any
then you've got the dogs as well, and everybody's trying to please
Yeah, of
everybody,
course.
and it's hard. It's an hard one. Don't know how you're going to do it.
There is the other, try notices, I've got down on the agenda about notices, map style. The past chairman had sort of divided the field up to 3 sections. The play area was totally no dogs at all. And then from the car park up to the footpath, dogs on leads. And then from the footpath to the north, dogs loose, under control. So in other words, not just running around attacking other dogs or etc., under control. And we would need a couple of maps at the entry points defining those areas as shaded areas or whatever, saying what you can do. Try that as a signage version, but you have to report people if you find them. I know it's difficult. So you get abuse. I've had it. I've had abuse from people when I've spoken to them about their dogs there. There you go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got these down. Do I investigate the cost of getting the notices like we're talking about in a map style? There's a couple of them.
I think a footballer that comes back to the village because someone was requested to.
Yes, I mean this is.
Because if they do that middle
There was a
section,
gentleman put on the website. Anybody know of sort of
That was something else, Keith.
slow kick around type
new
thing?
committee,
Yeah.
so a new committee of maybe ought to
But,
think
yeah,
dogs out.
but
Because
sort of
John was
just
having, when we got that
goalposts.
field job, there was no dogs allowed at all, was there?
No.
No,
Okay,
initially.
well look at that. Any other urgent matters, by the way, apart from the closure? No. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Lisa.